daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere.
Alright guys, we're going to Columbus. We're here at this truck stop right here by the I-75 highway, but we're getting out of it. We're moving away from it, and there are some people moving toward us, which is kind of awkward. Alright, Mr. Robbins, are you ready to score with some honeys over there in Columbus?
I'm dressed for the part and ready to hit the road.
Let's not bullshit anyone. We look like two fucking creeps in our van. What the fuck are you talking about? We're gonna walk around like two fucking nerds. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe some old lines like, did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Or are you from Tennessee? Because Tennessee OIC is really gonna make our day there with the young honeys. Everybody needs to reproduce, I guess, except I don't. I don't even know, as always, what I'm saying, but I don't think there's going to be a take two. So this is our trip to Columbus. We'll see what comes of it.
Going nowhere.
Alright, motherfuckers. Well, here I am in a very desolate place here on my alma mater, on the campus of my university, the Ohio State University. Mr. Robbins is playing videographer. And my friends, we are in Columbus. Columbus, the city of dreams. I expect nothing from fucking Cincinnati, from that shithole. But here I really aspire to something, and of course everything went down into nothing, into grandiose delusions, into a cloud of dust. Just like our whole lives. It's just that kind of the eventual pointlessness of your existence just kind of cycles through me continuously in my day-to-day life. I fucking said existence twice. There's a Canadian geese, Mr. Robbins. Can you maybe capture it there in the distance? Okay, well, very fancy. You're even zooming in. So let's look around. There's some sort of a building. You see, it's a fancy place. Ohio State. I mean, look at these big, tall buildings, right, Mr. Robbins? You haven't seen this before.
No, my first time.
Yeah, well, I mean, big buildings in general. This is some sort of a stadium. So yes, we're gonna explore. We're gonna look around. Mr. Robbins, what are your thoughts?
It's impressive. I haven't been on many campuses quite this size.
Yes, it is one of the largest campuses in America. It's here, and we're here, and that's the one city in Ohio that I really enjoy. So, Mr. Robbins, are you inspired by these quotes here? You're standing behind, of course, the quote by a famous Ohioan, Senator John Glenn, who went somewhere. He went to the moon, right?
So.
The happiest and most fulfilled people I've known are those devoted themselves to something bigger and more profound than merely their own self-interest. Mr. Robbins, does this describe you?
Yes, without a doubt.
What have you dedicated yourself? The My Little Pony series? What inspires you? Does anything do you feel seriously that there's something bigger in your life? Do you think that this quote is a corny banality, a kind of an empty platitude from Senator John Glenn, or
probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that having meaning beyond yourself probably is very grounding for a lot of people. Not that I've necessarily found it for myself, but it's probably a good piece of advice to at least try to find that.
I definitely agree with you. Strong hearts and helpful hands are needed, and fortunately we have them in every part of our beloved country. Are strong hearts and helpful hands needed? I mean, it is statistically impossible not to have them in every part of the country when the population is 330 million people at this point. That's not a huge achievement, is it?
I suppose not. We have them in every part of our beloved country. Well, I suppose.
Yeah.
There are good people everywhere, good and bad. Can't disagree with that.
What about the Silt Classic? I guess this is the last one I'll torture you with. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Well, that was a good one. Assuming Kennedy came up with it, I mean, it's certainly endured.
Do you owe something to your country, Mr.
I don't know. When it comes to that patriotism stuff, I am very skeptical.
You just said it was a good one.
I mean, it's good in the sense that
it's aesthetically pleasing.
It's lasted a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It stood the test of time.
Maybe do you owe your country a shave, maybe, or?
Look who's talking.
Well, I always said I'm a pseudo-American, so because I'm pretty sure last time we went out, you were also wearing this tracksuit top and Adidas.
No, not the same shirt.
Your commitment to Adidas will persevere.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, in spite of what the country might think or ask of you.
Exactly.
All around me are familiar faces.
Now, Mr. Robbins has spotted something here, and it is this package laying on top of a UPS container. Now it says here, "Ship to textbook rental program, Indianapolis, Indiana." Nobody really seems to value these textbooks, Mr. Robbins. It's just fucking let anybody steal them.
Well, I'm not so certain it's even textbooks.
Oh, I see.
It could be a suspicious package.
Well, I don't think it's at risk of being touched, really, since it has textbooks on it. I guess some poor custodian. Nobody is interested in knowledge. All right, Mr. Robbins, would you believe me if I told you that on many times when the weather is permitting, there are young honeys bathing right here in this very large space here?
I believe that 100%.
Yeah. Now, who's here now?
Not much of anyone, really.
Yes, it's a deserted place and the weather is very kind of cool and, in a sense, uninviting, but perhaps refreshes the mind, refreshes the spirit. Reminds me of Seattle. Are you happy you came here, Mr. Robbins, or would you wish to see a festival of youthful flesh, I guess, and just walk around here like a creep?
It's nice walking around. Yeah, it's nice to be on a new campus. If more people were here, yeah, it would have a much warmer feel, I think, but it's still good.
Yeah, we did see some bros jog by. And did we not?
Yes, we did, and the cops across the street.
Yeah, and there are also cops across the street probably looking out for people like us, but we were there to admire their athletic physique and kind of youthful energy and zest for the bros.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it was a weird week for me because I really got submerged into my manic fantasy of my Buddhist society. It became stronger and stronger. Now to be back here where it kind of all began, in a sense where the ball got rolling and where I had so many aspirations and so on and hopes for the future of my life, it is a little bit odd. I don't want to mope around too much. I mean, I'm only like in my early 30s. There are still things to do. But it is a cool experience because the weather is cool and I get out of my strange state of mind in my house, riding here with Mr. Robbins. So it's so far so good. We're about to meet Grant. Mr. Robbins, what are your thoughts so far about the campus? Is it too big for you? Is it too impersonal?
No, I think I probably would have done well on a bigger campus like this.
Because you can get away and get lost, right?
And I have the sense, rightly or wrongly, that there would have been a greater diversity of people with more shared interests than where I went to school. So, yeah, this seems like it would have been pretty cool.
All right. You know, Mr. Robbins, maybe you could get in here into the academia with the fucking cultural Marxists and different shitty feminists and so on. Have you thought of jumping in and maybe teaching here?
No, but I'm not yet sensing much of that neo-Marxist, postmodernist vibe yet.
Uh-huh.
But I feel that it's lurking somewhere.
They're very deceptive, and sometimes they blend in with trees. Like there could be three there right now.
That's my fear.
Yeah.
His plan was to...
All right, Mr. Robbins, here we are. This is a bridge. I've mentioned it in my bipolar video, talking about how at one point I was biking at midnight, biking at night along this trail, checking out little bunnies and just meditating on existence. Like, fucking A, meditating on my adult life. And at one of these junctures, I rode underneath this bike path here, and going back, I've noticed police cars, and later on I found out that a man was killed there. And the way, there might have been like a 30-minute interval of time in which it happened, so it could have happened exactly pretty close to the time I rode underneath. So in this case, I'm not trying to create some sort of grandiose narrative here. I've experienced nothing. It just created a kind of a soft hook of memory, or maybe a hard hook into this point in time, into this bridge. And so therefore I have returned here and looked at it, and this bridge had a kind of a spiritual significance to me. It is sad that this man has died, but of course I'm a narcissist, and it's just about that. It's just about this a kind of an intersection, I guess this bridge is. I mean, it literally is kind of, there's an intersection here, but so it was interesting to revisit. I can't say that it was very meaningful. I can't say that it was meaningless. I will say that I feel sorry for the man who lost his life, the young man who lost his life, and overall I'm just happy to be in Columbus and happy to revisit these parts of my life from 11 years ago. All right, here we are by the backpack, by the, what is this, bike path?
Bike trail.
Okay, bike path. And Mr. Robbins, you were impressed with the physique of a gentleman who ran by here, and you really kind of started smiling immediately as he passed by. And what particularly, it was his state of undress, that is to say, he was wearing very tight shorts.
Very, very short shorts, very
And
tight shorts.
they attracted your attention.
Anything smaller would have been a thong.
Okay.
Yeah, it was something I didn't need to see today.
Are you sure? Because you were very happy to see it.
I could have done without it. And then he came back
Yeah.
to give us all a second view.
Yeah, you had a frontal. Would you prefer that he'd be wearing yoga pants?
No, maybe basketball shorts.
Maybe yoga pants, would they still be an improvement? Somewhat of an improvement.
Yes. There would at least be a little more coverage.
All right, but of course, Mr. Robbins isn't the only one who has joined us on this odyssey to Columbus. And the other person is Grant, who has appeared on our stream with us, a treasured guest, and we even forgive him for pretending to be Meghan Markle to get on. So Grant, for how long have you lived in Columbus?
For 3 years.
Yeah. How does the hipster scene here compare with Seattle on a pony rating? Like, if Seattle is like 5 ponies or however many ponies of hipsterdom, you also lived in New York.
Yeah.
And how do they, New York would be the Mecca, I guess, Seattle and Columbus, how do they fare on a 5 pony scale?
It's like 4.5, 5, and 3.
Okay.
I moved here the day after my wedding and then had grad school that next week, so I came in a whole different, married capacity, so I never got into that world. But I have noticed that some of the venues, the one right across on Main Street from the Oval, has bands that I know, and that's not a good sign.
Yeah. Oh, that's the kind of the You shouldn't step in the same hipster river twice. Is that it?
Yeah,
Yeah. And so
which isn't actually good for music, but
Yeah.
that's often how it is.
it kind of reminds me of rap, where everything just gets replaced swiftly. Would you say that that's a good thing? That's enough hipsterdom here? Like, it has a degenerative effect, and we were talking about how you worked with the Amish, strangely enough, in your profession, and how refreshing it was for these bearded men to not have this entrenched sense of irony that really ruins everything, and that is the only way we can communicate even now. So maybe the lower, like a 3-pony rating of Columbus, Ohio relative to hipsterdom is just enough hipsterdom.
Yeah, all irony burnt away.
Yeah.
In this phase of my life, this is where I would actually, where I'm actually choosing to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in Amish country this weekend.
Yes, and are you ready to, well, do you eventually want to return to your little motherland of Seattle, or no?
Yeah, I mean that's the idea, but I felt drawn to Ohio. I think ever since I was reading about the 2000 election, and it was the bellwether state that they were talking about, and this idea, it was this place where the whole country was listening to it, and it was balanced. I like the idea of balance, I guess. And so I came here for college, and then I chose to come back here and then stay for grad school. And I don't think I'd actually be happier in Seattle.
Oh, I see.
So it's sort of just a notion.
Yeah. Is there, like, when I lived in Seattle, and like the reason I miss it is all the people many of the people I've interacted in Seattle were kind of colder, I could say, sort of more distant than they are here. But to the city as a whole, there was a mystical flavor to it. There was a sense of a sacred land where humans still, even though they have dominated the landscape like they always do, there was still a sense of foreignness to them, that there was a bigger power there, a bigger force.
You're constantly dwarfed by nature out there.
Yes.
And it's barely part of the United States.
Yeah.
Culturally.
Exactly. So do you not miss this mist, this fucking fog of something, of maybe connection with something, looking down the hill and seeing the fragility of human civilization? The earthquake's gonna hit, everybody's gonna fall to fucking smithereens, all the coffee is gonna pour into like the ether, into the core of the earth. Do you miss that?
I do. And I feel like I'm almost throwing something away by being out here, because I'm from a pretty like established family in Seattle, and there's all these transplants, so it's like I could move back and have all these roots. I have this notion that once I become a construction project manager, and I'm somebody who's like a lower rung on that currently, that I'll come back and I'll help help the housing affordability issue.
Mm-hmm. Well, here he is. It's Grant, the prodigal son of the Pacific Northwest, here in the Midwest, experiencing the middle way of the plains between the extremes, connecting to something foreign, which is America.
Exactly.
All right, my friends, here I am, bathed in the light of this Marathon gas station at the end of our trip. Maybe this person driving by will think we're utterly insane, and he's looking at us as such. But that's the end of our trip to Seattle. I still have some popcorn in my pocket that Grant has graciously given me, a popcorn from Amish country. This specific piece, Mr. Robbins, has fallen on the floor and the carpet, so I just put it in my fucking pocket, and now I've just rediscovered it. It was an interesting trip. It was a trip where I really felt really alive, like I didn't in a long time, because I revisited old memories, revisited old haunts, and got away from my strange fantasies and detachment from life. Now, Mr. Robbins, you have tagged along really with no initiative, in a kind of a sheep-like manner. Really, you never said we're gonna go there, we're gonna go there. We just kind of, walked around campus of OSU, and then we went to like a bridge where I could have hypothetically been killed. What did you get out of it, if anything?
Just new sights. Just going along for the ride, taking things as they come. It was better than far better than just sitting at home inside all day. So,
Okay. So you got to walk around, you got to look at different buildings, basically kind of like some sort of a child on a field trip who has horrible family life and just wants to just wander around without thinking about anything.
Yeah,
Just kind of a
yeah.
surrender of will, just mumbling around like a zombie.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything of this trip really sticks out for you?
I'll have to think about it. I mean, it was nice seeing Grant, nice
Yeah.
meeting his family.
We met
and
Grant's
going into his home.
We met Grant's wife, his child, and his pets.
That was all
And
very
Mr.
nice.
Robbins really was pushing it with the pets, petting it at the same time. It seems like kind of milking them for more affection than they had for him. What is the explanation of this
Oh,
neediness?
that could be.
Mr. Robbins,
I just
the-
like animals.
Yeah, the pet whisperer petting both the cat and the dog. Do you think that Grant's place like lacked a parrot or maybe like, I don't know, a waterfowl or something like that?
Did it lack it?
Yeah, like would you like more pets?
Oh
you
no,
were
no, I don't. I don't like
seeming-
birds at all.
Oh, okay.
I prefer mammals.
Okay, so you were content with just the dog and the cat.
Yeah, they were very nice.
All right, well let's wander over here and see what it's like to fill up a tank of gas for a working man at current prices.
Whoa.
Yeah. All right, that's.
Club.
All right, I'm gonna go in there, get myself an energy drink, and then we're good to go.